Hello. This channel is going to be focusing only on whether games are good at 2, meaning we'll be covering games that maybe play from 2 to 100, looking at you, Werewolf, but we're only interested in how well they play with just you and your wife, or you and your best mate, or you and your cat. Can you take your turn? So, Harmonies. It plays up to 4 people. It's a nice, fast, lightweight abstract game where you'll be taking up to 3 actions on a turn, and you can take these in any order. Firstly, let's go over taking tokens. As you can see here on this little central board, there are 5 spaces filled with 3 tokens each. On your turn, you must take 3 of these and place them on your player board any way you like. Simple, right? No! There are 6 types of tile which we're going to call wood, plants, fields, water, stone, and brick. You can place any tile anywhere 1 high. Now that's fine, that's simple, but some tiles you can stack. For example, you can stack plant on top of wood to make a tree. Now these can be 2 or 3 tiles high. Mountains can similarly stack up to a height of 2 or 3. Both water and fields can't stack. That makes sense, right? You never really see a 2-story field, right? Finally, brick or houses are always 2 tiles high. You can place a singular tile down, think of it like putting down the foundations of a house, but then only another brick tile can go on top, like building the rest of the house. Brick can also sit on top of a wood tile, think treehouse, or a stone tile, think building a house on the mountains, I don't know. And all of these terrain types have different endgame scoring. Both the second and third actions you can take in this game are optional. On your turn, you may take an animal card from the 5-card lineup and add it to your collection, placing orange cubes on each of that card's empty spaces. You can only hold up to 4 cards at a time, but don't worry, you can get rid of these in order to pick up more with the third action in Harmonies, placing an animal cube. To place an animal cube, you must match the corresponding card's pattern on your personal board by placing tokens, which as we've already mentioned is the mandatory action on your turn. And placing these cubes is one of the big ways you'll be scoring points at the end of the game. The pattern can be rotated any amount on your board. For example, this pattern here still matches this card even though the orientation of said pattern is different, whereas this pattern does not match. You can also do some quite funky stuff like using this token here to create a pattern, but then reusing this token in this separate pattern. And a lot of the strategy in this game comes from doing this and thinking ahead when building up your board. At the end of the game, you'll score points equal to the highest uncovered square on each of your animal cards. You'll also score points for trees. Trees are scored depending on their height, 1, 2 or 3, for 1, 3 or 7 points. I mean, is a 1 height tree even a tree, or is it just like a shrub? Mountains also just score depending on their height, 1, 3 or 7 points again. But each mountain must be touching another one to score anything. Water scores in one continuous line. You only count your longest run of water tiles, for anywhere between 0 and like boatloads of points. Boats are related to rivers, get it? Buildings score 5 points if they're complete, meaning 2 stories high, and surrounded by at least 3 different tile types. You only count the top tile in the case of a stack. And fields score 5 points for each group of 2 or more, meaning this scores 5 and this scores 5 too, so don't waste your time. I mean, why would you even want a field this big? Like, why? How many cows can you even own legally? I mean... There's also another side to these boards, which is a slightly narrower shape and which offers a different way to score the rivers. Instead of scoring a big long line of water tiles, you score for each separate island, which means each section of tiles that's separated from the others by water. An example is this board, which shows 4 islands at the end of the game. This is a good variant which does actually change the strategy of the entire experience quite a bit without adding much complexity. So that's the scoring. Points for used animal cubes and points for the various terrain and building types. The game ends when the tile bag is empty or when a player has 2 or less empty spaces on their board. In a 2-player game like this, it will always be the latter as you never get close to emptying the bag. You play until you've had an even number of turns, then that's it. We found a game to last about 30 minutes most of the time, and it's a fairly breezy vibe, although you do have to be careful not to overthink, and I will say if you're prone to analysis paralysis, you can genuinely think ahead really far in this, and plan your whole game essentially from quite early on, ending up with turns that feel centuries long. Like if you're taking tokens and thinking about fulfilling multiple of your animal cards, while also considering animal cards you may take on future turns, the planning of your board and token placements can get very complex and hard to map out. So I definitely just try to think about maybe a few cards at once and try not to overthink too many token placements. But yeah, just something to bear in mind if this sort of thing bothers you or if you're very prone to this issue. After a game or two, the scoring feels very quick and simple, and the scoring sheets they provide break up the math nicely and are easy to read visually because of the colours used, which represent the token types. The only little hiccup when you first play is that the terrain scoring, the rivers and houses and stuff, are a bit confusing to remember while you're also planning your animal cards and token placements, but after literally a game or two you get used to it. You've got 2 lots of fields, well they better not end up connected or you'll go from 10 points to 5. You got loads of big mountains, well they better not be separate or they score nothing. You got loads of trees, that's fine. You got loads of houses, surround them with 3 different things or they're worthless. Why do I always forget and put my houses here? The components in this game are another really great high point. The art on the cards is some of my favourite art in a game, and the minimalist, high contrast vector art style is really engaging to look at. The animals are also really well depicted and varied. The wood tokens are again very nice to look at and feel nice and tactile in the bag and in your hand. The wood effect also makes them feel quite naturey, and they're not totally round, they're kind of warped around the edges, which is a bit of a weird touch, but I do like it. The cubes to represent animals are obviously a simple, fairly cheap way to achieve this, but they work fine and stand out on your board when placed, which helps too. Nothing to rave about, but not a problem. A nice little addition in the core box of Harmonies is its additional modifier, kind of like a little free expansion that it comes with, which involves these 10 nature spirit cards, depicting a nice variety of godlike animal spirits. At the start of a game, each player picks up 2 of these and decides on one to keep, placing their kept card into one of their 4 usual animal card slots and just returning the other to the box. This card now acts as a normal animal card, except it can only be placed onto your board once, representing that spirit joining your habitat and hopefully enriching it. And it doesn't score a flat amount of points, it now adds an additional endgame scoring opportunity. This lazy cat, for example, will score you 4 points at the end of the game for each separate house or group of houses on your board, and this is alongside the usual endgame scoring for houses. This massive, horrible butterfly will score you 5 points for each field, or group of fields, and so on. This little addition can make the endgame scoring quite a lot more explosive in our limited experience with it, as there are a lot more potential points up for grabs. It adds a nice level of variability and replayability, and so it's definitely worth a look, although we are happy to play with or without it, to be honest. What's bad? There are a few little issues with this game which don't massively affect our opinion on it, but are worth mentioning. Firstly, the token pool can dry up. Basically, you can have moments where you really need brick to build a house, for example, and your animal cards require little to no wood tokens, but the token pool just looks like this. Is there even any brick in here? What the? Oh my god, what the hell? Give me those back! We're probably going to fix this up with a house rule involving maybe being able to re-roll the token pool once a game, or maybe re-rolling it every time it fills up with, say, 6 of the same token or more. So this should be quite an easy fix, but we have had games where this just ends up stagnant and there's little you can do about it. Especially if you're both after a certain token and there are none showing up. But then you can kind of just end up fighting over the one constantly picked section, which feels very random and a bit stale. This can also happen a bit with the animal cards, basically the same issue. None are showing up that match your board state, and the only way to get more to show up is to take one, which then limits you as you can only hold 4. This potentially also reveals a card your opponent really wants, which sucks as well. Again, maybe a house rule involving refreshing some of these once a game or something will be a good fix. We'll have to play around with it. So overall, this is a great quick game with a lot of crunchy, impactful choices packed into a short playtime and a small box size. The production is excellent, and honestly this is some of the most vibrant, stylish art I've ever seen in a board game. The rules are fairly light, and importantly, Harmonies can suit itself to different player types. If you want to spend 5 minutes per turn planning your next few animal card positions and token placements, while thinking about what tiles or cards to take to screw your opponent over, you can. The player I think this suits best ultimately though is the one who just plays their own board, taking what they need and not really overthinking what to do to hinder their opponent. The game just feels a bit better when played as a breezy, cozy, competitively light experience rather than how we play something like Azul, which just feels like 30 minutes of bullying. In a good way. My game is vicious. So is Harmonies good at 2? Yeah. And here's 3 quick words to summarise our experience at 2 players. So yeah, this is a great game. Thanks for watching, and next time I'll cover maybe some other cute little game with 2 players, or maybe something really big and complicated, I don't know. Although that video would probably be very long, so we'll see. But thanks for watching. See ya.